Thank you so much for being with us this evening. Now, you both fought for America in Afghanistan, and you're fighting for America right now in the halls of Congress. What we're seeing now is we have the highest inflation in 30 years. We have these left-wing radicals who are holding up the improvement of our roads and bridges and waterways and ports because of this so-called $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill, which is for anything but infrastructure. I'll start with you, Congressman Waltz. What's your take on this?
Well, you know, Judge, I didn't almost die for this country twice to have my children growing up in a country led by socialists or a world led by Chinese communists. But that's exactly the road that we're on right now. And what I think you're going to see play out over the next month is that they're going to go for the policies because they know if they can get these programs in place, you know, Ronald Reagan said the fastest way to eternal life on earth is through a government program. They'll shave down the years that it's going to last. So, you know, that free everything may end in 2025 versus 2028, and that'll allow them to take the price tag down a little bit. But they know if they get the programs in place and they can redefine the country, for example, you know, the child tax care credit in this bill, it no longer has to be your child. So they already tripled it, and then it can just be any child that anybody's taking care of. What could go wrong with that? But at the end of the day, Judge, as you said, the problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money.
That's right.
Margaret Thatcher famously said that. But that is the tragic road that we're on until we can get the House back.
All right, Congressman Green, I mean, what are we going to do to get the infrastructure package and what we need? I mean, do we have to indebt our children, you know, for the next 100 years so that we can get these socialist programs going?
Well, thanks for having me on, Judge. And yeah, that's exactly what Nancy Pelosi wants. You know, she wants to concentrate power into the hands of fewer and fewer people themselves in Washington. That's what socialism is all about, is concentrating power into the hands of fewer and fewer people until you get like Nicolas Maduro, as you have alluded to in your opening statement. I mean, that's what they want. They want a socialist country. And so they're going to tie all of this together and basically attempt to create that socialist country. But I had the unique fortune to interview Saddam Hussein the night we caught him. When you concentrate power into the hands of fewer and fewer people, you get tyranny. You get a Saddam Hussein, you get a Nicolas Maduro. And you look at what's happening in Venezuela, an average of 24 pounds lost by each Venezuelan. They have to wait 8 hours in line for food. They had a 75% decrease in their agricultural production over the past couple of decades. These people are starving. 33% of the population has basically fled the country. But that's what Pelosi and AOC and Bernie Sanders want.
Well, so what is going to happen? The radical left, it seems, and I'll ask you this, Congressman Waltz, the radical left is like controlling. Who's in charge?
You know, and just to add to what Representative Green was saying on Venezuela, there are more refugees, Judge, fleeing Venezuela and fleeing socialism than there are fleeing ISIS and the Assad regime in Syria. That's how desperate these people are to get away from this just devastating program because, you know, at the end of the day, in order to take from one group of people to give to another, the bureaucrats and the dictators are making all the calls on the winners and losers. And that's what we're seeing in that migration of power towards Washington, D.C. But the progressives are in charge, Judge. The president is a Trojan horse. Kamala Harris is the most liberal senator in the Senate, left of Bernie, that's standing right behind him calling the shots, along with Nancy Pelosi and the Progressive Caucus. And you know, we are blocking and tackling the best we can. And fortunately, as Manchin well said, you know, we can't even afford the programs as they stand. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid are going insolvent in just the next few years. And thank God somebody's coming to their senses and trying to put a stop to this.
Well, you know, in addition to that, Congressman Green, what we've also got, we've got illegals that we know of that we've counted 1.6 million. And that doesn't include the runaways. That doesn't include what we just saw under the bridge in Del Rio and the 60,000 that are coming up from Panama. I mean, it is socialism. How do we stop this?
Absolutely. I mean, and it's tied together. It's all about the Democrats staying in power and concentrating power in their hands in Washington. The people coming across the southern border, that open border, which they opened, they know they'll come to America. They'll have children that'll vote Democrat. So that's why they're basically opening the southern border. When it was Cubans rioting in July and, they basically said, no Cubans coming. Why? Because Cubans vote Republican. Well, we have to stop these guys. And of course, that means pushing back, winning elections, and we're going to take the House back in 22. There's no doubt about it. Nancy Pelosi will not be the speaker in the next Congress. That's what we have to do. And of course, here you got Manchin and Sinema pushing back. Hopefully they'll stay the course. The bill's so crazy right now, there are moderate Democrats that aren't joining with the progressives. So she can't even get her team together on this, thank goodness.
Good. And, finally, let me ask you this. I mean, this week we had the hearing with Milley and Austin and McKenzie, and they said they told the president, you should keep the troops there. We know the president lied. But more than that, what we're seeing is when the president lies, people die. So when he lied, and I'll go to you, Congressman Waltz, when he lied, people died, whether it was at the airport in Kabul, our servicemen, or even with the over-the-horizon capability where he killed 7 children. I mean, the lies end up in deaths of people.
Yeah, here's the biggest lie, and when it comes to American citizens, Tony Blinken keeps using this number of just 100 left behind, but then he puts in a quick caveat and says that wanted to leave. And I would love to ask him, if he was given the choice to leave Afghanistan but leave his family behind, would he leave them behind? Hell no. And should they then be categorized as not wanting to leave? Judge, there was just a plane that landed in Chicago yesterday. Thank God for these veterans that went in and got them out. That had 116 Americans, green card holders, and legal permanent residents. We got another 7 across the border in Tajikistan yesterday. So they're lying about the numbers. And then the other thing they're lying about is that they can do counterterrorism in Afghanistan without any diplomats, troops, intelligence, bases, or anything on the ground. And that's a lie, and America is a lot less safe because of it.
No question. Congressman, thank you both so much for being here. Congressman Waltz and Green.